Hello and welcome to our loved audience to the Dandelion Reflections. Hello, Colleen.
Hello, Christopher, and hello, everyone.
Yeah, nice. And thank you that you joined us today too. And Colleen, what topic do we have today?
External validation or the need for external validation. We'll look at that together. I think you had a great suggestion, and yeah, it can bring up a lot. So,
Was that my suggestion?
yes, I think
Are
it
you
was.
sure?
Wasn't I? Wasn't mine? I don't know.
Is
See,
it even important?
no, it's not. If for some, yeah, whatever. Well, I guess we both thought similarly, and yeah, somehow I don't know. Yeah, external validation. That's what we agreed on. So, yeah. Yeah.
External validation. Okay, so if I just let one of my thoughts pop up, and what I make of that word,
Hmm.
external, the need for external, or that expression, the need for external validation, I somehow think of work, a
Yeah.
work environment, the boss that's never happy.
Hmm.
How how am I doing?
Yes. Yes. I think yeah, you tie that to a performance or a deliverable that you share and you're expecting approval, right? Or
Hmm.
validation. Or that's one of my main meanings as well. Yes. And also emotional aspect, right? Needing to be validated in our emotional experience, right? So for me, that's another big area where I would apply that concept. Yeah.
Many of our emotions are, of course, rooted in behavior or our life, say 40, 50,000 years ago. So where does that come from, this validation? Why do we need that anyway? Or why
Hmm.
do we think we need that?
Yes. Well, that's a big question and great question. I mean, maybe we could tie that to attachment theory.
Hmm.
Um, as you mentioned earlier before we recorded, as we were checking in, there is this I mean we notice that need for external validation and in relationships and interactions, and it's very important for people, and it can be an obstacle to a fulfilling relationship, and it seems like that's a fundamental need to be validated, right? So if we go back in childhood and look at how parents respond to a child's emotional experience, the validation will become very important in building a secure attachment. I see that a lot in my patients I work with, right? Survivors of trauma. And I think I mentioned that in a previous podcast episode. But if someone has experienced, let's say, sexual trauma and they go confide in a parent, and if the parent says, "What did you do?" or "I don't believe you," that's almost worse than the trauma itself. The child
Oh my
is
God.
very distraught by not being believed. And that's understandable because if something happens to a child, the child wants to know that the parent will be there to protect them. And if they don't have that, that's traumatic in itself, right? So I think external validation is really important and deep
Hmm.
as a need. So that's kind of, these are my first thoughts. So of course our biology is such that yeah, we need to attach to a parent or a figure we depend on, and that attachment will be built or established with building blocks such as external validation.
Wow, I see that's even deeper than much deeper than I initially thought after hearing what you had to say about that. So it's this safety, this feeling of safety in a child. I'm safe here. I can I can always count on the
Hmm.
adults around me, uh,
Right.
maybe even the parents, that they will protect me. But in this situation that you described, this must be horrible to not feel uh, loved, not feel validated.
Yes.
Oh
Yes.
wow, that's and I can see that this can rip deep, deep um, scars in your soul, right?
Yes. Yes. Well said. And you also have some examples in mind, right? How it gets perpetuated, maybe, right? Because it's so crucial to establishing attachment needs or security of attachment that it can get reenacted, right? So I don't know if you want to share or talk about that, give examples of that, but it's actually very common
Right. We
dynamic.
uh, we let me just one second. One second.
Yes.
The so this feeling of not being loved, not feeling
Mm-hmm.
secure, um, when this sits very deeply in us, uh, we tend and um, uh, remind me when I'm getting it wrong. If I get it wrong, we actually carry that into our adult life. This trauma, these experiences, because we think this is the way it should be. This is the way it's correct, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what we experienced um, in our younger life,
Yes.
this is the normal. This is the you're recording these behaviors, these normal um, situation, and you tend to recreate, reenact
Mm-hmm.
this these situations. Of course, not willingly, but you're not planning to do that. But
Right.
suddenly you find yourself in similar situations, like in a relationship or with colleagues or
Mhm.
uh, with in a work situation
Yes.
where you constantly ask yourself, why am I? What is it that that it's interesting. The more I think about it, the deeper it goes, because
Mhm.
there's so many things, so many aspects that we actually carry on
Yes.
from our young lives into adulthood, and think there's the whole world is against us, so for example, or
Mhm.
we keep experiencing these horrible situations and ask ourselves, where does it come from? And we
Mhm.
don't really get an answer to that until
Mhm.
someone or something happens or someone steps into our lives that actually sees this or and helps us becoming aware of these
Mhm.
patterns, right?
Yes. And I think, like you said, it goes so deep. It really is about fundamentally our self worth. Because when we seek external validation, there's this silent question in the background that is, am I good enough? And why
Oh
do we
yeah.
ask that question to begin with? It's probably because we have not felt loved in childhood. We have not felt loved
Hmm.
like we need to feel loved. And it's a very nuanced topic, right? I had recently a patient saying to me, it was so eye opening. I did not feel loved by my parents, but I know I was loved. So that's very different.
Oh.
People are hesitant to say they don't feel loved because they feel like they're going to blame their parents or they might
Hmm.
feel stigmatized. What do you mean you didn't feel loved? Look at what your parents have done for you. This is invalidation. The child's feeling or experience is real, it's true. They know cognitively because maybe their parents later on appreciated them, who they became, and the parents worked out through their own wounds, so they were more emotionally available. But, from day one, they might not have felt love. That could be a reality, and it's more frequent than we would like to admit.
So, could you uh, put a little more light on this, on the difference between feeling loved and actually be loved?
Yes. So feeling loved, meaning the child, the way love was delivered was not effective so that the child could be reassured that they were loved.
Mm,
Okay. So the parent might have a love language that was not really, that the child was not fluent in. Okay.
right. Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So it's just only later in life when everyone speaks, so to speak, verbally, a spoken language, a common language, that yes, there is this correction or reassurance. But all those years, if there was a mismatch, because maybe the parent would be more reactivated in their trauma, attachment trauma, because having a child can bring up a lot about our unresolved stuff, right? It can be healing and it can be activating, and both. Okay. So if the parent is way too much in their own unresolved stuff, they're not available to the child. But they would do everything for the child. They would drop everything in an instant to be there to assist the child. But the child might have had specific needs that were not addressed or seen or heard
Hmm.
at the time. And the child, the way I see attachment and love, I feel like the child, the baby attaches. It's biological, it's survival.
Exactly.
The parent needs to love. The parent might be attached, but they need to be a little bit more advanced than that.
Hmm.
Attachment is very primitive and needed, right? But the love is like unconditional regard and acceptance,
Right.
right? So when you become a parent, you have to be intentional. You have to, yeah, I'm going to love this child no matter what. But it's not the reality in most cases. Often the parent has an agenda. The parent has already a vision of what the life of this child would be like, of what this child.
Oh, that's so common. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. The I see this situation in my mind. A father or mother, a parent, tells their child, um, "Well, well done with your grades in school, but it could have been better."
Right. Yes.
And what does that? It's absolutely uh,
Mhm.
intended. I'm sure. Uh,
Right.
and but still, what does it? How does it?
Yeah.
How does it work in the child at that moment?
Right.
I'm sure it's not the way the parent intended it to.
Yes. It's a very important question you're bringing up. The child might internalize that as what I do matters more than who I am, you know?
Yeah,
Uh, I need to perform. I need to, yeah, deliver an outcome. And so basically, I'm not enough. That could be the
it's.
interpretation.
I worked so hard this year,
Yes.
and still my
Hmm.
parents are not and happy enough.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like the love is conditional. Do this and we'll love you. We'll be happy. We'll be proud of you. We'll validate you, you know?
Yeah,
So that can have long lasting effects. And I see that, and I'm sure you've seen that, you've experienced that. And you and I are both from a generation, Xers, right? Generation X generation or Generation X, the so-called latchkey kids. I was not necessarily that, but I can see what people mean by that. We had a babysitter was
hmm,
waiting for us after school, but a lot of us, and I learned to be independent early on and self-sufficient. Yeah, they literally had the key around their neck
right.
to and went home, and the parents were working one, two shifts, or um, that I could see had an impact in our generation, right?
Mm.
About not feeling seen or loved, or yeah, our parents fed us, we had a roof over our heads, but
Hmm.
were
The
they really
basics.
spending time with us? Were they
Hmm.
playing with us? So I think there's this generational effect that we need to look at as well, and also break the sense of aloneness. I mean, there's no shame in saying, "Well, I didn't feel loved." It doesn't say anything about you, your value, your worth, right? It
I
doesn't mean you're
see.
not lovable.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let's put a marker on this. It doesn't mean that you are not lovable. That's something very important, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yes, because I think there's a lot of shame in people saying, "Well, I didn't feel loved. I didn't feel seen as a child." It's like
Mm.
a stigma. But that's why this patient who opened up like that to me, I was so enlightened by that, because that explained a lot of her difficulties later on, right? So,
Hmm.
but I feel like a lot of people could identify with her. She was very lucid about that. And I think people would benefit in just admitting the truth and saying, yeah, that's the reality. It doesn't mean anything about the value or worth of the parent. But at the time, the child didn't feel loved. Maybe the parent was going through depression,
Hmm.
alcoholism. The parent is emotionally unavailable. So of course the child's not going to feel loved as like they need to.
Right. So, to take the pressure of all parents out there, um, or children or adult children now, uh, would it be okay to say that that all of our parents have done the best they could at that time? Would
Yes,
that make everyone feel better, maybe?
I think that's a fair statement. I think in most cases, parents mean well. Parents do the best they can. They're
Mm.
human beings.
Right,
And
they are.
the work that needs to happen in those wounded children who are now adults is to really parent themselves and learn to self validate.
Right, exactly. Because what happens if we cannot say these words, my parents did best they could at that time,
Mm-hmm.
we keep ourselves attached to whatever happened at that time, right?
Yeah.
Uh, whatever bad feelings we had uh, towards our parents or some other adult in that time when we were children that we
Mm-hmm.
blame for whatever has happened to our lives. Does it help us today? No, it doesn't help us.
No.
Awareness is okay. We can see this is how I see my life then. Today, this and that happened. This is what I remember
Mm-hmm.
was traumatic for me.
Right.
And yes, there are wounds,
Yes.
but do I need to carry that all of my future life with me?
No.
It's there, yes, you can't make it undone, right? But you can
Mhm.
still re what was the word I was reframe it, right? There
Yeah.
it was.
Reframe. Yes.
Reframe it. What can I learn from that?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
how can I turn that into something positive? Like, for example, okay, I'm not going to do this with my child, for
Mm-hmm.
example,
Exactly. Yeah.
or becoming aware of, okay, I don't need to wait for anyone else to
Mm-hmm.
admire me, to love me,
Yes.
to give me appreciation. I can do that by myself.
Yes. It unlocks a potential, right? An energy once we let go of that expectation, and when we can really give ourselves what we feel like we didn't get,
Right.
and look at our parents with compassion, right? Like, okay, they came from that era and this is what they did at the time,
Mm.
and kids were part of the decor, and it's
Yeah.
like, they really didn't know about the attachment theory, probably,
Right.
and we have more literacy about that nowadays, but yes, they were doing the best they could with their own ancestral wounds and
Mm.
whatnot. So and challenges. And yeah, I think what we can do is give ourselves permission to believe that we're worth it, that we can live freely from the need for external validation, and removing those high standards and just do whatever is aligned with our values, and not
Right.
seek approval all the time.
Maybe I come up with the story of um, a long-term client who let me know about his feelings about his father,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yes.
he let me know that he never got any appreciation, still doesn't, from his
Mm-hmm.
father, and
Mm-hmm.
he's over 50 now, and his father is somewhere on the other
Okay.
side of the 70s. Uh, and
Uh-huh.
still, he, the client, is trying to get appreciation of his old father and still
Yeah.
didn't get it. He still
Mm.
doesn't get it from him. And
Yeah.
he still carries this in his heart.
Right. Right.
And it's such a deep scar
Mm-hmm.
in him, and it keeps him from so many things
Right.
to this
Yes.
day, to
Mm-hmm.
be happy with himself, to not want there's a whole bunch of issues. I don't
Yeah.
want to go in any detail there, but uh, this uh, a, a person, a parent, not
Mm-hmm.
letting their child know that whatever
Yeah.
they do is wonderful,
Yeah.
and it can
Right.
really
Yeah.
have a big impact. And then what I wanted to say is we 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 tried to put a little light on his father's
Mm-hmm.
life in
Mm-hmm.
as a child. It was the same thing.
Yeah. He's repeating the same
Exactly.
dynamic.
So
Yeah. Very different. Yeah.
he experienced this as a child and thought carrying it over to the next generation, putting the same onto
Mm-hmm.
his son,
Yeah.
and he's doing best he can, right? The father is doing
Right.
as best as he can because he
Yeah.
doesn't know any better still, and still to this
Right.
day.
Yeah. And instead of taking ownership for his own wounds, he's reproducing it maybe as an attempt to heal again.
Hmm.
Um, and now it's your client's turn to look at that and decide, okay, what am I going to do with that? How can I free myself from that
Right.
pattern? And yeah, this is so common, and I don't want to be again like genderized or stereotypical, but typically, fathers versus mothers. I mean, the dad's approval, it's like the job of the dad kind of to approve, or it seems like the child expects the dad to approve, and the mother, if they are a mother and a father
Mm.
in a household, and the mother to have the comforting role. So I feel like,
Hmm.
and it's still deeply ingrained, but it might change. But maybe it's because it's typically a masculine quality, like the persona, and as opposed to, like, yeah, the nurturing tendencies on the mother.
Hmm.
So once the child's needs for nurturance are met, then now they go into the world and they need approval, they need to be seen, and maybe that's the dad's job. But this dad had his own, like, gaps,
Hmm.
um, and that was, he was not equipped, basically, maybe to help your client. But yeah, your client should, I would like to tell your client that it tells us more about your dad than you, right? So
Exactly. Exactly my
it's,
words.
yeah. Okay.
Hmm.
So yeah.
And that
um
seeing this uh,
mhm.
actually disconnects. Well, not unattaches you from your father, of course, but it disconnects uh, uh, his behavior from
Yes.
their son's behavior,
Yeah.
or so we can actually see. Okay, it's not about me. This is not.
Right.
I
Right.
oh I can. I can actually change things
Hmm.
by myself and
Yes.
becoming aware, right? We say that
Running
in just
aware.
about every episode. This awareness,
Yeah.
this seeing, believing, and actually turning the ship into another direction
Yeah.
without disconnecting with the father, of course,
Mhm.
in relationship wise, or
Yes.
with any parent.
Yes. It seems like the dad did not give himself permission to do his own path, and
Mm.
therefore he didn't know how to handle the son's needs for being given permission, right? So it's all about, yeah, we have to be meta in a meta position, and appraise the situation from a more global perspective, ancestral perspective. And I look at my own story like that too. I always wanted my dad's approval. And I know when I was little, my dad was hoping I would choose the same professional path. I didn't. And whenever
Hmm.
my dad was really proud of me about some kind of accomplishment, that meant the world to me. And now I'm not craving it that much because I feel like I do things because I feel like that's the right thing. And it's because I want to do a good job at it. But I know for a while, even as an adult, I was craving that.
Right,
The, so I can relate to that. And it's all a learning experience, right? There's no right, wrong really in life. It's part of the journey. And how can we make the best out of those experiences and use them as teachings about ourselves and the human condition?
right. Now, please, you that you're listening or watching this, go back 20 seconds and listen to what Colleen said once again, because I thought that was really, really important. Just to disconnect. Okay, it's neither right or wrong, whatever has happened. It happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it is a part of your history, a part of your life. Okay, you can't just do magic and it disappears. It won't. It doesn't work that way. But you can always learn from it, right?
Yes.
And what can I take from this?
Yes.
There's always something, some either a person, an adult that really, really did good for you in your life. There's always something uh, happened in our lives that we really always can lean back onto and feel
Mm-hmm.
safe. And from
Yeah.
that point, we can do better just today.
Yes. I love that. Music to my ears.
Wonderful. So, right now we've come to the point where we can actually say, right, it's not about me. My parents did the best they could at that time. Uh, and how can I've become aware of what was and how it changed, how it, huh, see, now I'm looking for those words again, where I've become aware how that has been a problem in my life. So
Mhm. Mhm.
how can I change? Okay. Well, as we said, becoming aware is step one. Uh, Step two, how can I do better?
Mhm.
So
Yes.
sometimes I see that we tend to go over to the
Mm.
other side too much. How there's a certain word for it. Overcompensation.
Overcompensating.
Ah,
Overcompensating. Mhm.
right.
Yeah.
And there, that happened. I think that happened. If I may say that, it's very private actually, but it's okay. Um, with my mother never really experienced a lot of love from her mother or father.
Mhm. Yeah.
So she maybe overcompensated. I don't mean this to in a negative way. It was just the way it was.
Mhm.
I don't think it was either good or bad, but it explains a lot to me.
Right.
So I it made me understand the way my mother was with me and is with me, and I love her for that because she did the best she could at that time. Her parents did the best they could at that time,
Yeah.
but it let me understand a lot about myself
Hmm.
because I when I chose my relationships in adult life, I wanted this the same thing too, right? I
Hmm.
needed someone to nurture me, to see after me, to validate me all the time, and I was totally unaware of that. I could do that by myself too. I don't need anyone to do that. I
Hmm.
wanted to have validation at work too, of course.
Yes. And would you agree, Christopher, that once we have a pattern of relationship, we see similarities. Oh, I always end up with that kind of partner where I feel
Right.
invalidated, whatever. It's kind of a way for us to learn about ourselves because if we see that only once, we might not pay attention to it. But if we see the common denominator, the
Hmm.
repetition, that gets our attention. And then we can wake up and decide whether we want to change or not.
Yeah. I just hope for anyone out there that's listening that it won't take 50 years for them to see that,
Right.
like in my case.
It's never too late. And it's like sometimes there are multiple repetitions or the same scenario happening many times. And sometimes it's amplified the next time around because, okay, we didn't
Hmm.
get the message the first time, then life finds a way
Right.
for us to get the message. Yeah, to be alert and yeah, conscious about that.
And like Buddhism often says, if you don't take care of your challenges in this life, the same challenges will be presented to you in the next life too. To take
Yes,
care of them and resolve them, and
right, right.
that's how it works, right?
Yes, yes.
And
Buddhism.
life, as you said, life tends to
Mhm.
present the same patterns, the same challenges over and over again until you finally get it, and
Yes,
until it hurts enough, and so you finally change something in your life. Not trying
yes.
to change other people. No, that doesn't work,
No,
right? Change yourself.
exactly. That's all we can do. Yes.
Mm.
It starts from within. Yeah. And the
Right.
rest unfolds. Hmm.
Yes, exactly. And just in case we haven't said it often enough, it's not about good or bad, not about
Hmm.
um, putting
Yeah.
labels on other people or yourself, or
Yeah.
feeling bad or
Hmm.
making other people feel bad. It doesn't help. What helps is to see without
Hmm.
labeling, to see
Right.
this has happened, this is happening, this is full stop.
Hmm. Yes. Yeah, it's yeah, the foundation, I guess, of Buddhism and meditation is, yeah, looking and seeing without judgment, right? Without
Mm.
labeling, without saying it's good or bad or right or wrong, but seeing in its totality a phenomenon and an experience. And that will help us do something with it, make the most out of it and continue to grow. Yes.
So how if someone has come to this point to actually draw a line and uh, see that okay, this was my past life, or this is my
Mhm.
past life. Now I'm changing the
Right.
things
Yeah.
for real. I'm not going out there to try to gather appreciation or
Hmm.
find
Yeah.
someone else to love me, or uh, try
Hmm.
to buy myself expensive jewelry or watches or cars or luxury
Mm.
articles to give myself
Hmm.
validation
Yeah.
or uh, yeah, um, what's it called? Drug abuse can also be connected to that, right?
Yes, to be part of, to have a sense of belonging and be accepted sometimes in certain groups.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. True.
So, how can we go
Mhm.
on the better path
Mm.
moving forward?
Yes, I guess it's experiencing the frustration of not getting where we want when we wait for external validation and seeing that we just are stuck, noticing that or
Hmm.
noticing how it has not served us really to look for external validation. I mean, for me, just a brief example, I'm going to participate in another art exhibit soon, and I signed up for it. But
Cool.
I like, what am I going to produce? What am I going to do for art? And I'm like, I've been uninspired and stuck. And then this morning or overnight, I had an idea, and it's completely different than what I had imagined because I was kind of trying to go with the audience's eyes, like, okay, what are they looking for? And I was trying to produce something or plan for something that they would approve of. But then I realized, no, I have to do that for myself. What is it that I'm
Wow.
dying to say? What, what is the truth that I need to let out, regardless of whether I show it or not? And then there came the idea in my head. So that's a concrete example, but that's what it looked like for me. I was getting frustrated of being stuck, and I'm like, no, what is it? I listened to myself this time. I
Oh,
paid attention to
wow.
whispers. Yeah.
So what you actually ask yourself is, who am I doing this for?
Yes. Who am I doing this for? And what is the message I want to convey? And then, regardless of how it's going to be received, because I have no control over that. And then that freed up
Right.
my inspiration.
So you didn't do it. You didn't produce anything, or didn't you got away from the thought that you needed to produce something for the audience, but for
Yeah.
yourself.
Yes, exactly. It's for myself. And I'm having fun with it. So finally.
So uh could people listening to us do something similar in, like, let's say in a work environment where they're
Mhm.
not getting the appreciation from their colleagues
Yeah.
or their boss?
Yes, I would say don't wait for that because often when we hear from the boss anyway or supervisor, it's when things go wrong or they're not happy. When
Right.
things go well, they don't necessarily say good job.
Hmm.
Sometimes they do, but I think the critique is more frequent than the actual appreciation.
Hmm.
So I would say just keep doing what you think is the right thing and according to your values and your organization's mission and do your best. That's it.
So often we zoom out to see the
Mm-hmm.
big picture, but in this case, maybe it's better to zoom in and not see the whole company, not see your team, but
Mm-hmm.
focus on
Right.
yourself. What am
Mm.
I doing this for? Who am I doing this for?
Yes.
Am I doing this because I love my work? I love uh, what I'm doing. And from
Mm-hmm.
that perspective, if you find what you are doing this for, then we can
Yes.
zoom out again. We can fly higher,
Oh,
like a hawk,
I
and
love that.
see,
Yes.
oh wow, what I am doing down there, my small work
Yeah.
that I am happy with, that I love
Yeah.
doing because I love making things better for my customers, or I love making this whatever article I'm working on
Mm-hmm.
perfect so that the customers that are buying this are happy with it. And
Yeah.
this makes the team better, or
Yeah.
this makes the yeah,
Yeah.
or this is very good for a company or whatever.
Yeah. Whatever puts you in the state of joy as opposed to feeling depleted.
Exactly.
You need to go to the former and readjust the latter because, yeah, that's an indicator that you're on the right path when you feel energized by what you do. So,
Right.
yeah, zooming in is important for that because you pay attention to how you're feeling during your work. And
Yeah.
then you can zoom out and look at the big picture and be proud of the ripple effect or your contributions without
Right.
waiting for a tap
So
on the
the
back.
so the janitor in a big organization actually is
Mhm. Oh yeah.
loves their work, hopefully,
Yeah.
and then and it makes all their colleagues feel good because they're living in a working in a good, clean environment
Hmm.
and work a little better because of that. They love being at work because it's
Yeah.
clean, and then the whole company
Hmm.
thrives, hopefully.
Yeah. Yes.
Now let's look at the same way at in the same way at relationships.
Hmm. Right.
A, a great question that I actually came up with not too long ago was looking at a partner or a potential partner
Hmm.
before you go into a relationship. What can this person give me that I
Hmm.
cannot give myself?
Hmm. Yeah. And that's why often we end up in relationships, right? Because
Right.
we're looking for something that a relationship will fill up or fulfill, right? So often we walk into those in, yeah, um, with some certain illusions that it's going to be
Right.
fulfilling and yeah, repairing some deep wounds. But yeah, what we could look for, ideally, right, is someone who resonates at the same or vibrates at the same frequency, and someone who's willing to do a journey with us, being their own person, and as we are our own person, and
Mm.
it's really about kind of like Antoine de Saint-Exupéry said, love is not looking each other in the eye, but looking together in the same direction.
Oh
So
yeah, I love this. Yeah, right.
yeah.
Exactly. And it's not about wanting to some asking someone else to fix ourselves or
Hmm. Hmm.
fixing someone else. That's the actually the opposite of good in a
Yes.
relationship, I'd say.
Right.
But looking at the same in the same direction,
Yes. Yes.
and right, it's wonderful.
Yeah, it's about being willing to learn
Mm,
together about life and about ourselves. It's really I think relationships are teachers. It's an opportunity to learn, and it's like it's freeing too, because when you walk into a relationship, then you know that it might end like everything else in life. It's impermanent, right? And so there's not that pressure to stay together, even though there's no compatibility. It's like, okay, we
hmm.
can do a little bit of path together, however long it will be, no matter how
Right.
long, but it's or no matter how short, but that will still be valuable. And that allows us to stay in the present instead of saying we're locked into that lifetime kind of partnership. We know it doesn't work that way in reality. I mean, at least 50% of marriages end up in divorce or separation. So that tells us something about how we operate as human beings, right? We are constantly evolving and learning from each other, and we can't
Hmm.
stay the same, frozen in time and the same dynamic. Yeah.
Wonderful. So with all this freedom that suddenly comes into our lives after we have actually freed ourselves from these shackles of trying to get external validation all the time.
Mhm.
What are we doing with all that time and energy suddenly?
I guess we can see what needs to be done on this earth and pitch in and contribute and help people elevate their own awareness and consciousness, right? Sharing our story and
Right. But
guide others.
because we want to
Yeah.
ourselves,
Oh, yeah.
not
Not for
for we
approval.
want exactly, not because we want approval.
Yeah, yeah. That's
That's
an example,
elementary.
but not
Right.
because, yeah, we want, yeah, the approval. We know we are approved of already. We're living, we're in this earth. So we have the seal of approval. We don't need that. And we are legitimate beings. We have a right to be here, and so yeah, we don't need that approval. Just because if it's only if it brings us in a state of joy, yeah, we should give to the next, right?
And in time of doubt, uh, here's an idea that I would like to share. Uh, why don't you ask your younger self,
Mm.
like, for example, your 8-year-old self,
Hmm.
when you were in despair, trying to get the attention of your parents,
Yeah.
what is it your 8-year-old Caroline, for example,
Mm.
would want to give yourself now?
Wow, that's I will answer in silence, but I let me
Hmm.
say that 8 years old, you found the age that was it's very sensitive for me. So
Hmm.
yeah, there's a lot I need to tell the 8-year-old Caroline for sure, and I will. Yeah,
And we don't need anyone else to give us that. We can give it ourselves, because now as an adult, you know
yeah,
much better what you
right,
needed then and what you still need today,
yeah, and I'm
right?
doing it in a little bit at a time. Yes, more and more.
Right.
Things.
Wonderful. And
Mm.
I actually I didn't know that this would hit so well or resonate you well so well with you.
Mm.
I took that from a client's session actually, and
Mm.
it was 8 years with her too. So
No.
um, it was a coincidence, but maybe 8 years is a very um, an age that seems to be very sensitive for many people.
Yes, yes. Maybe developmentally, there's something there that's really
Mm,
huge and therefore more fragile. It was for me, at least, yeah.
yeah.
But yeah. Mm.
Hug to you for that.
Thank you. Hug taken.
Thank you. Wonderful.
Yes.
So, is there anything more we want to tell our audience that, or
Mm.
that you think we have not yet touched?
I think we covered so much today, Christopher, way beyond what I thought we would. I think yeah, it makes me feel good to discuss these things, actually, to name these issues. And yeah, I
Right.
hope our audience feels like they're not alone in whatever they're going through. And um, yeah, they are enough. You are enough, dandelions.
Yes, you are enough, and you are wonderful the way
Yeah.
you are right now. You don't need anyone else to make you
Hmm.
worth, because you can do that yourself. You don't even need to do that yourself, because you already are, right?
Yeah. Yes. You can just live it. Allow yourself to live
Mm,
wonderfulness you are, right? Without having to prove
exactly.
it to anyone, but just embrace it. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
All right then.
Mm.
So that will be it for today then. And thank you, Caroline, for joining me and for this very warm episode. And I hope you who were listening and watching are
Mm.
thinking the same way.
Yes. Thank you, Christopher. That was wonderful. I appreciate your insights as always in our conversation and exchanges. It's very illuminating and, like you said, warm.
Thank you. The same goes out to you. And whatever you thought about or are thinking about this episode, let us know. Uh, yeah, right. Leave a comment or connect with us. We'd love to know more about you and your thoughts. Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
Caroline.
Merci, Christopher, and
Bye
everyone.
bye.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.